Hi, my name's Tom Bowring and I'm the Blended Learning Professional Developer for the Learning and Teaching Unit. In this episode, I'll give you a brief overview of some of the things you can do in the Grade Centre to help you make sense of what can sometimes be an overwhelming amount of data. A vUWS Grade Centre can in some cases contain hundreds, even thousands of rows of students, along with a magnitude of columns containing information related to assignments, tests and other accessible related items. It may also contain non-assessment related items such as the 5 A_ columns. In the next few minutes I'm going to show you how you can limit what you can see in the Grade Centre and some tips to help you make sense of what you do see. As some of you are probably already aware, you can create a filtered view of the Grade Centre by creating a smart view. You can base your smart views on a course group, a performance, a user, a category and status, or a custom build. And if you check the Add as Favourite option, your Smart View will be added to the Grade Centre sub-menu for easy access, as with these two cheat groups shown here. This is especially handy in units with large cohorts, as downloading a smaller number of students can greatly improve the loading time of the Grade Centre. Now let's have a look at some of the other things we can do. In sites where there are lots of assessments, you may choose to hide columns for assessments that are finished or purely for the student's benefit. Or it may be that the 5_ columns are not relevant to you. In either case, you can hide unwanted columns from the Grade Centre via the Manage Column Organisation page. You can also rearrange the order in which the columns are displayed by dragging them up or down the order. The highest column being the leftmost column, down to the lowest column being the rightmost column. If you had a group of students who had dropped out, etc., who you no longer wanted to see in the Grade Centre, you can remove them from the Grade Centre view by going to the Manage Row Visibility. If you wanted to do this for an individual student, you can do that from that student's contextual menu and hide their row. The other things you might want to do from this contextual menu are to hide other rows, so you can see just a particular user and hone in on them, to view the statistics for that user, or to be able to see what that user can see via the adaptive release rules. You can also either email the user from here. If you wanted to email more than one student at a time, you can do this by selecting the required students and then clicking on the email button. If you wanted to email all students, you can do this by clicking on the Select All checkbox at the top. Using the Select All option is also a quick way to see how many students are in the current view of the Grade Centre, as it shows the total selected rows here at the bottom of the Grade Centre. I said earlier that Smart Views are basically a filtered version of the Grade Centre, but there is another option for filtering your view of the Grade Centre. Using this option, you can change to existing Smart Views of the Grade Centre, or you can filter your view based on a category, such as an assignment, blog or discussion, etc. And you can further filter that view by then changing to certain statuses. So you might like to look at just the ones that need marking. So that will give you an even further filtered view of the Grade Centre. Now that we've looked at how to reduce the quantity of items being displayed, let's now look at what we can do to make it easy to interpret what we are seeing. Using grading schemas, the vUWS Grade Centre can automatically convert the students' scores into pass, credit, distinction, etc. format, as shown here. Grading schemas are easy to set up, and in many cases you already have a grading schema in your site called the vUWS Grading Scheme, which you can view, edit and create new from the Manage tab. Once you have a grading schema in your site, you can choose where the raw score and the schema are displayed. When you edit a column information, you have two options for displaying the student's score: the primary display and the secondary display. The primary display will display in both the Grade Centre and the My Grades for students. The secondary display displays in the Grade Centre only. So in the option selected here, the students will only see their grading scheme, whereas in the Grade Centre it will display both the score and the grading scheme. Another handy feature that gives a really quick visual indicator of how students are doing as a group is colour coding. You can set up the colour coding via grading status or via the mark ranges. Colour coding can be turned on or off by clicking on the Show Colour Coding button. Columns can then be sorted by clicking on the column header to group colour ranges. Well, that's it for this episode. For more information about the Grade Centre, please review the webinar recordings available in the Blended Learning Professional Development vUWS site, or go to ondemand.blackboard.com for other video and instructional resources.